you imagine that our bad game was scoring 28 points?
I mean, it's the first time as a Dolphins fan I've ever seen this type of offense.
It's the first time in how many years that we're 6-2?
2001.
2000. Marino was still quarterback.
It might have been Jay Fiedler.
Jay Fiedler?
Yeah.
No chance.
I swear to God, I thought I saw something.
Jay Fiedler took us to a 6-2 record. There's no
I know.
Jay Fiedler.
It made me kind of like not be super happy about where we are right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Me Lo Confirmo podcast. As you can see, Dave's not here. So
I am not David.
This is not David. This is the famous Papucho, famous Danny, the guy behind the camera. Yes, we brought him out from behind, and he will be leading today's show. We got Javi on the camera today.
No.
And so, you know, Dave's getting married this weekend.
Dave. Good for Dave.
Yeah, so congrats to Dave. Congrats to Dave. Go Dave. Woo! He's getting married this weekend, so he actually will not be on the next three. He's going on a honeymoon to Australia. So if you're in Australia and you happen to listen to this, go find Dave.
Go find Dave and congratulate him. Ask him for his takes of the week because we're gonna miss his takes.
We're gonna miss those.
There's a lot of pressure for you, man, because Dave has become a staple of the show, and now I'm the
Dave's
guy.
become a staple with the show. People are getting a little angry with him with some of his decision making on some of these takes.
From what I've heard, I mean, people want to know who the voice behind the camera is.
Exactly. We see him in all his glory. They said they couldn't hear him. They're gonna hear him as well as they ever could today.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
So yeah, we're gonna run it today, and then next week we may not be recording. We'll keep you guys posted. I will be out in other weddings as well, and Dave will be on his honeymoon. So we're running thin these next few weeks, but we'll be back at least in 2 weeks.
It'll be a slow November, but we'll pick it'll pick right up.
FINS are on a bye week. Yeah, maybe we need a little bye week too. We work like the FINS do.
You luck yourself out of the the UMFSU.
That's actually a big
podcast,
one, man.
Maybe we have to find a way to get on there because there's no way that me and you are gonna go toe to toe in a UMFSU talk.
I know.
There's no chance.
Yeah, no.
There's no chance. We're gonna.
I forgot that's
miss
next
that.
weekend. God damn it! Who schedules a wedding on UMFSU day? That's the actual day of the wedding. I think at the
they
same.
Probably don't.
What time is that? Is that a nighttime game?
I don't think it's been officially scheduled, but it is gonna be on national. It's gonna be a national game.
Yeah.
What time it's usually gonna be? I mean, I think the earliest it'll be is 3:30. Like the earliest it's been in the last 5 years has been 3:30, but for the most part, I mean, they have been.
I would say in Tally, I could see that being a night game.
Yeah, it could be a night game, but I mean, another cases. I mean, I think wasn't Penn State, Ohio State 12 o'clock?
Yeah, they've been doing. I mean, it depends also the lineup of the other games going on.
It all depends on what the market's feeling, but I mean, it's like one of those rivalry games that you can't miss out on. But I mean, regardless, I mean, Young's still gonna do what they got to do up there. They're still gonna do what they got to do.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm not gonna get into that right now.
I can't even be too confident about it either.
And FSU looks good. UM had a good win this weekend. They got NC State this weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that in a little bit because I know you got a pick to make later on today. So we'll see where you go with that. But big thing this week is FINS.
Yeah.
Got the FINS in Germany.
Yeah.
Playing against the Chiefs. It's not going to feel like a playoff game in the aspect of there's no home or away team.
Yeah.
But in terms of the relevance of the game, it's going to be like a playoff game in the fact that you're the top two teams in the AFC. Chiefs are coming off a bad loss. Which I don't like that for our sake because historically Chiefs don't just lose two in a row either. Mahomes was apparently battling with a bad flu. Was on IVs.
It was a snow game too.
It was cold.
Yeah.
So Mahomes, it wasn't Mahomes' fault. I think he played well enough in that game. No. It looked like he escaped the pocket a few times too soon. Yeah. He took a lot of sacks. So it didn't look like the offense that the Chiefs offense usually looks like. No. But that's been the story all year with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not the typical Chiefs that we're used to seeing, but you can never discredit them. and still being in a great
Mahomes
team.
has already solidified himself as possibly one of the best to ever do it. I mean, so early in his career, I mean, with the milestones he's hit, I mean, already 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, already, record-breaking numbers. So, I mean, you can never count him out, and especially
he's up there in every stat this year, too.
And then you have, arguably one of the greatest tight ends to ever do it. I mean, that connection is probably one of the most solid connections we've seen since a Brady Gronk or, something like that. But, I mean,
you look at what the Chiefs-Broncos game looked like last week. The Broncos did an amazing job of taking Kelsey completely out of the game, basically. And he still had 6 receptions, I think, for like 60 yards or something like that.
Unfortunately, their weapons haven't been to par. I mean, they have guys that are serviceable, but you don't have the dude.
That breakout guy, the guy that's going to get open,
it should have been
space.
Kadarius Toney. Everyone thought it was going to be Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, but even when he was in the Giants, he wasn't like that guy either. They thought they could get a good value out of him, but he hasn't panned out. Sky Moore hasn't really panned out.
They tried their hand in the draft. I mean, they've gone the last few drafts early with wide receiver, but I mean, they just haven't been able to hit.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely a need for help, but one thing that's maybe not the case for old Chiefs teams is their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, their defense is more solid. I mean, headlined by Chris Jones. I mean, that guy is a force to be reckoned with in the middle. Yeah. And especially since we love to go to our run game, I mean, how much is he going to affect our run game and our run attack is yet to see.
Well, I mean, look, I feel like we haven't run the ball well 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, I can tell you why we're not running the ball well.
Yes, yeah. And I was going to say, there's more reasons behind that, but the Patriots forced us to throw the ball. Yeah. And we did it, and we did it well. Thankfully. We were the first team all year for not only a receiver to break 100 yards, but 2 of our receivers in Waddle and Tyreek Grow 100.
Waddle's breakout game. He's been quiet all season. This
he was dealing with injuries in the beginning of the year. Yeah. But, it is good to see him like that. He had a couple drops in that game. Oh. But the other thing that happened in that game, too, was Tua threw for over 300 yards, and the Patriots defense had not given up a passer over 300 yards in the season.
Aside from that one stupid pick he had early on where he forced a 3rd and 15 throw. I mean, good defense by Bill Belichick. I mean, how people aren't trying to copy that 3 safety look against us is beyond me. But how many people can pull
He did it the whole game, and we still were able to throw the ball. Tua is a bounce-back god. He makes a mistake, and he comes back, and he solidifies himself.
I told my friends, I think one of the greatest players in history is Tua Tagovailoa after throwing an interception. That guy is one of the best players to ever touch the grass. That guy comes out of an interception, and it's either a touchdown from him or it's a touchdown drive or it's a big play. I mean, that guy.
But that's what you want out of your guy. He's going to probably test it a little bit early. He's going to try to make a play, maybe try to make a throw. He knows that he's got, but he knows what this offense is. Mike McDaniels knows what this offense is. You can afford to make mistakes early in these games, and it hasn't ultimately affected us, right? No. I mean, even in the 2 games that we've lost, Tua had interceptions in those games. They weren't the difference in those games.
No. I mean, the slate was a big play.
It was a big play. It was a big play.
Moment in the game.
But there was a lot of factors in that.
Yeah,
interception.
There was more to the interception than the interception being the factor why we lost. But do I think that he's thrown a little bit more interceptions than we're used to?
But look at a guy like Mahomes.
Yeah. And you look like a guy like Mahomes, and
he's got 8, 9 picks already this year. So I'm not super mad about it, and the fact that we're scoring points, we're winning games. They're not the worst interceptions. I mean, you look at some of those are situational interceptions. So we'll see. Obviously, in big moments, those are the ones you're going to question and be like, come on. But, I don't think Tua's made those type of mistakes. And, like, to your point, he looks great after every single one.
Yeah, he bounces back. He doesn't let it. It doesn't just go like on a slippery slope where it just goes down and from there, just interception after interception. I mean, he throws an interception, he comes back, he fixes it, he goes on a scoring drive.
And McDaniels does a good job of adjusting too.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a confidence thing with him, or maybe it's just how the coaching staff has allowed him to just go through it on his own. But I mean, I haven't seen him in a while like just completely collapse in the game,
which is good.
Which is the last time I think I saw that was maybe against Green Bay last year. But we obviously know that he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't himself, and I mean, and you're seeing with Brock Purdy, bro. That guy, the last few games has been rough, and he took another hard hit.
Yep, and he came up a little wonky from that.
Yeah, I mean, and then people make fun of the whole Tua jiu-jitsu, but man, Tua's where's all the wood in this game?
Yeah, I know. Where's all the wood? Don't even go there. Don't go there.
But he's healthy. He is on his feet. He's been.
He's
barely
learned how to
touched.
fall. He's learned how to take
And
hits.
then you
And
see-
the O-line's done a good job of protecting him.
And quarterbacks this year, I mean, they've taken a toll.
I know.
Quarterbacks this year have taken
Everybody,
a
the
toll.
injuries have been up, but I think you have to credit obviously the offensive line. Even it's been diminished pretty much all year.
I think we were out. I think at one point Sunday
Yeah,
we were down to. I think we're out officially 7 offensive linemen. In total.
Yeah, we were down. We were down to our right string left
Yeah.
tackle. We were down to our second string left guard, our second string center,
Yeah.
and our second string right guard.
Because we lost Lamb. We lost
Hunt.
Because Wynn didn't play. He was never going to play.
Yeah,
from the
he
get-go.
never even started that game.
The only guy that's holding it down the fort
Is Austin
Mr.
Jackson,
Austin
baby.
Jackson, man. Which surprisingly,
Respect.
PFF numbers don't look that good. I think he has like a 60 grade on PFF
That's not what, on what? On run blocking or
and
pass?
overall.
Because I'm pretty sure his pass blocking is really good.
I think he had. I mean, are some numbers like could it be like a double team that didn't go good? Maybe.
Yeah,
But
don't
I
know.
mean, overall, that guy
I
to
have
me.
nothing to complain about it there.
If you don't hear an offensive line's name, offensive
Yeah.
lineman's name, that means he's playing
To his
really
blind
good.
side, too.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, granted, I think last
He's
week
taken
Hassan
a
Reddick-
huge
yeah.
leap. He's taken a huge leap. The offensive line has been great, but this week we're gonna possibly have Armstead back, which to me that's gonna be a huge leap.
Williams will be back.
Connor Williams should be back. He was active last week but didn't play. So now you're back to 2 of your starters actually back on the line. You're still missing your left guard, and then your right side is perfectly fine. Right? So this might be the best offensive line we've seen in a while.
And our best defense.
And,
we've seen in a
and I was
while.
about to get there. And then our best defense.
I mean,
we couldn't have gotten healthier at a better time.
Yeah.
Considering all the injuries that we've just stacked up at random times throughout the year.
And then this guy comes into the game. You're like, you know what? He might, start off a little bit slow. I mean, Jalen Ramsey.
I know.
Had his side.
I know.
on
I was
the
curious.
block.
I was wondering if he was going to be on a snap count.
Yeah.
How were they going to send help
Dude,
over the top
he
a
played
lot
the
with
whole
him?
game.
Played the whole game. He gave up 1 completion the whole game. Had a pick, which
And
was
a
a
forced
great
fumble.
play. A great play, and he had a massive hit that forced a fumble that we should have jumped on and
Yeah.
would have been like an actual
The
turnover.
funny thing is that you know how like now they kind of release like all the throws that a QB
Yeah.
makes and like where they're thrown to.
Yeah, everything was
You
to the
can
right side of the
see where
field.
Jalen Ramsey was lined
and
up.
guess what? You're not going to have the luxury of doing that because guess what? X is going to be on the other side now.
Yeah, I mean, if Xavier Howard doesn't play, I mean, you'd be surprised.
He was apparently super
Yeah.
optimistic today
He
in
was
the
super
press
optimistic. I mean,
conferences.
look, if you're gonna sit him against
But they-
the Patriots, I get it.
But that's what I'm saying. The
We can
Dolphins have been
handle
doing
that.
that all year.
Yeah, we can
They've been
handle
doing that
that.
all year.
Yeah.
If you're 80% against a team that they think they could beat with their second and third string, they're going to go do it.
And we had Needham back too. Kohu's been holding it
Brandon
down.
Jones looked like the Brandon Jones, and then he took a cheap
Love
shot there
that.
by Juju, so he's in
Yeah.
concussion protocol.
I mean, but overall, I mean, I think our corners in the mean like.
And Holland, we didn't even have Holland last week.
Yeah, with all the injuries to the position, I think our defensive back room. I mean, I think credit to Sam Madison,
Yeah.
our coach. I mean, that guy has just held it down. Credit to Fangio scheming it up, giving these
No,
guys opportunities.
we're looking like the defense that we're supposed to.
Yeah.
The defense, Chubb looks freaking amazing.
Well, after you go, well, I'll let you finish you, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think has been the catalyst for like our defense kind of turning the tide. But you,
Yeah. I mean, Chubb's looked amazing. Jay Phillips, he's, I'm sure not even 100%, but he's probably getting close to those 100% and getting back into that game speed. I'm expecting him to have a really big game this weekend. And then their interior line's been great too.
Yeah.
Wilkins looks like Wilkins again. These guys seem like they were actually trying. You heard a lot of rumors like they were trying to get used to the system. They finally look like they are getting used to the system. David Long has been a beast in the run game.
Our linebacker play has
And Baker's been awesome.
I don't know. I think it started in Philadelphia where I was watching the game and I was like, dude,
they played
our
amazing in that
linebackers
game.
Are freaking flying.
They're
around.
flying, breaking blocks.
And David Long and Jerome Baker have kind of got this little connection going
They look
now,
good together, man.
Where it's just like you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Jerome Baker's wearing a neck brace now. I think he took some notes from Zach Thomas is wearing the neck guard. Ever since he wore the neck guard,
He's going.
he just channeled his inner ZT. But I mean, I think our linebackers. I mean,
linebacker play's been great.
linebackers.
I agree.
I feel like that's been like a
Our
weak
biggest
spot of us for a while.
Historically, yes.
Historically, but I just think like if you have that middle locked up, I mean it. And I just feel like we're also starting to get a lot of coverage sacks. Like we're getting a lot of sacks.
We forced Jalen Hurts in that Eagles game a lot out of the pocket.
Yeah.
He made some really big plays. on some broken coverages, but that's just more of like guys getting open and him being able to create space. You know, those are the things that historically have killed us too. Why Josh Allen does historically really well against us, where coverage breakdowns after people, you know, initial reads, they're covered, but then after Josh Allen breaks the pocket and goes,
and
there's problems with that.
You look to this week, and then you
And
talk
Mahomes
about
does that too.
who probably does it better than anyone. It's Mahomes' ability to extend a play is legendary.
That's my biggest problem with the defense.
It's at a GOAT status, the way he's able to just extend the pocket and the angles of his throws.
He's like, the ball's here, his head's there, he's literally going in circles.
The way he's able to just like throw the ball at whatever angle. I mean, he's like coming from down here, letting
and he's keeping his eyes downfield the whole time.
He just knows how to throw a football better than anyone right now.
Yeah.
And if you look at years past, I mean, he's most dangerous outside of the pocket.
Exactly.
So that's where
that's where historically we get killed too.
So that's where I think our linebackers are going to be the catalyst, because do we run a QB spy on him? I don't know.
Maybe on third downs.
Do you leave your?
He extends drives with his legs a lot.
Do you have some sort of spy on him or some sort of, contain where you don't let him get outside of the pocket and force him to run upfield?
Right.
I think that's where I'm most worried. If we can keep him inside of the pocket, I think that he won't hurt us. It's if we let him get outside the pocket and extend plays.
You think we dial up a lot of blitzes?
Man, do we dial up a lot of blitzes? I don't know if we dial up a lot of blitzes. I think we should blitz. I think we should bring pressure.
Yeah.
But then again,
the blitzes have worked pretty well for us this year.
The blitzes have worked pretty well, but then again, like if you send a blitz, who are you gonna have getting that outside contained?
Yeah.
Like if you want to bring maybe some corner blitzes.
Well, now I think we have the luxury to be able to do that.
And plus, now we're talking about
Holland. You got Holland and Elliott over the top. You got Ramsey and X at the corner slot. You got Kohu in his spot as a slot corner.
I think maybe you treat it differently just because you have Kelsey coming around.
Yes, I agree.
And he's going to be I think they're definitely going to try to dominate the middle of the field with him. So do you bring middle blitzes?
So if we're playing man, who the hell is covering?
I don't know if you go into a Deshaun Elliott kind of nickelback, or you have Jalen Ramsey who physically can keep up.
Yeah, but Fangio hasn't run that defense with the corners.
No.
He plays a corner on the left, a corner on the right.
Do I think David Long might be fast enough to keep up with Kelsey? Yeah, but I'd rather have a safety. I'd rather have a Javon on Kelsey.
I would love to see that matchup.
Shading him. Do I think that we should just have a shade over him all game and just be like, listen, you're going to have to throw to Rashid Rice to beat us. You're going to have to throw to Sky Moore.
Well, that's exactly what the Broncos did. That's what anytime Kelsey ran a little curl route, they had two bodies right there.
And then, on the ground game, I mean, I love Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah,
I love that guy. That guy runs with a purpose. I don't think we've seen a guy run that hard in a while.
I mean, our run defense has been pretty damn good.
Our run defense. And unfortunately, I have Pacheco in one of my leagues. I have Mahomes in one of my leagues. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, they're going to face the full wrath.
The full wrath of this defense.
The full wrath of this defense.
I mean, are we missing anybody on this defense right now? Outside of Brandon Jones?
No, man. I think we're completely healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the first time we've been healthy. I think this minus maybe Devon Achane.
I think
our team is
Raekwon was out last week, I'm pretty sure, you know, as part of the rotation. But
I mean, I think this is the healthiest we're going to see our team since
the whole season.
Since training camp.
Yeah.
Since training camp, really.
I mean,
think about it. In training camp, how many guys we lose in training camp alone?
Ramsey was the big one.
We lost Keon Crossan.
Yeah, Keon Crossan. What's up with him?
I think he was
I know, but I thought I heard something that he might be coming back.
I thought he was out for the season.
Oh, maybe.
But regardless, I think this is going to be...
But Needham coming back is a sneaky good one.
Now Fangio can just dial it up and be like, I have my guys.
Exactly. He has everything that he needs.
Maybe knowing that we have so much protection on the outside, maybe he's like, listen, Javon, get ready to tackle Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Hey, Deshaun, get ready to...
Well, that's the thing.
I
don't know enough about football, but I will say... because of the lack of depth that we've had in the corner position and the safety position, they've had to ask guys maybe to do a lot and put them in situations maybe where they're not comfortable. Now everyone can be put in their situations where they thrive.
That slot corner where he is the best at.
Holland can be that ball hawk over the top. Elliott can line up, over who he needs to line up.
Elliott will be our big guy, our boom. Yeah. I think our boom getter, the guy that just finds.
No, I do think this it's going to be a great test for the defense. We're going to see our defense at some capacity in its true colors. And then, on the flip side of things, what is our offense going to look like again against another good defense, against a good team that is going to, show out, considering that they just come out of a loss. The narrative has been that we can't beat the good team.
That's what I was
right?
saying, man. This is like
this feels like the game that you do it.
I think in football in general,
What's on the line with the AFC.
Like you look at football teams just throughout the season, like there's always those games that can be like a turning point game for you. That can like be like, listen, like now we know what these guys are.
Yeah.
And I feel like
everyone's waiting for it to happen.
Everyone's been waiting for it. I mean, do I think people are making a bigger deal than it is? It's like, yeah, like
100%.
We lost to good teams, but then again, we blew out Denver by 70 and they just beat Kansas City.
Exactly.
So it's like, would you rather us lose to bad teams or would you rather us be losing to teams where it's like, you know what? At least you lost to a good team.
Then you have a team like the Bills that they're coming off 4 bad games in a row against teams that they should probably beat by multiple touchdowns. So it's like, let's flip the narrative and say like, hey, maybe the Dolphins haven't beat the good teams. We haven't been necessarily healthy, and no one in the league is healthy. But
we get those guys on a good day. They get us on a day where we're not ourselves. Granted, is it unfortunate that it happened when we're playing like a good team on a big stage?
Exactly.
Sure. Yes. But at least you can't say is like, yo, they were underwhelming. Like they lost to a team. They lost to a crappy team.
Exactly.
But you can't say that about us because every team that comes in that we should be, we hang 31, 41
exactly.
points
You're
on the
beating
head.
the teams that you need to beat, and that's what you have to do as a good team in the NFL.
And then you have the Giants a 1-yard play away from beating the Bills and them being
a PI call
500.
Yeah.
They beat 3-4 right now.
Yep.
They beat 3-4.
And they had a no PI call in the end zone on that Hail Mary.
Let's not talk about PI calls and just officiating in general, bro. It's getting scary right now because it's not just an NFL. Now it's like getting to college football.
It's leaked into college. I mean, we saw it
against FIU.
Against FIU,
State.
yeah.
That was like the fact that they I just don't know.
I mean, for a team like FIU to that they have national television on that Wednesday game. For the amount of people that probably don't give a crap about that game, for them to go on Twitter and talk about that specific call and just be like, that's probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen. In that state of the game, you like people say like don't put it in the hands of the officiator or the officiating, but the reality is that one play can alter the momentum completely of a football game.
People don't understand, like as an official, you have the ability to, like one call can completely
alter everything.
Like even in basketball,
even if it's just one call, there's a thing called momentum.
You can control the pace of a game. You can control the momentum. It was like the Dolphins. We get the pick 6 and then right away, like everyone's making memes. The officials are like, whoa, slow down there. Slow down. That wasn't part wasn't part of the plan. And it just happened in the NFL a lot. I think it was the Pittsburgh game.
I didn't see the game, but I did see that the Steelers players were complaining a lot.
I have a friend that's a Pittsburgh fan, and like, no one wants to blame the refs because that's like the sorry excuse.
It's the always easy way out.
That's the sorry excuse. But I mean, it's getting to a point where it's like, dude, like these plays are like changing the trajectory of my game, and like we could have, if this goes.
What was the game the week before? Was it the Colts game?
The PI in the back of the end zone?
Yeah, the 2. It was a roughing the passer.
Was it Bengals?
No, it wasn't Bengals. I think it might have been Commanders.
Or Cleveland.
Cleveland. It was Cleveland and Colts, and they basically got, I think it was a roughing the passer call that put them. It would have been a fumble, game over, and then they got a first down, and then it led them to the drive to a throw in the end zone that the ball was 10 yards outside of the back of the end zone, and they call a PI, and they end up winning the game on the next play. The NFL comes out with a statement the next day saying, "Oh yeah, we got it wrong," but it's like how that's a lot. Like that's a win and a loss difference. How can you just say, "Hey, I'm sorry"? Like
it's like,
well, maybe next time we get it right.
Thank you for taking it away.
I mean, I would have fucking had a win, and I'd be sitting at 4-3. Now I'm 3-4.
And I think it just got progressively worse. I mean, it's been going downhill since that missed PI call against the Saints. What was it, like 4 years back?
Oh, my God.
The Rams against the Saints in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's been bad. I mean, look, I think the argument is, like, look, refs are not going to get every call right.
No.
Right? But I think what's going to happen out of this and should happen out of this, at the minimum, and I think the Colts owner said it, and it's something I've been saying for a long time, under 2 minutes, you got to be able to review those calls. Yeah. It's quick. You take a quick at the screen. You have your people looking at it that know what they're doing in New York.
Yeah.
You have the refs looking at it. They provide their input. You know what? Hey, that was a defensive hold. We missed it. Or hey, you know what? There's actually no contact there. We call it.
But would you say that every play gets reviewed for a penalty?
Under 2 minutes?
Or that if there's a penalty called, it gets reviewed? Or if that there is a possible penalty on the field?
I think if it's a penalty that can affect the outcome of the game, it has to be reviewed. Because how many times have we seen it where you're deep in your own territory, there's 40 seconds left in the game and you're down by 2, what are you going to try to do? Just throw the deep ball to try the PI? And 9 out of 10 times you might get it. You might get the call because they might see a little grab, they might see this, and then guess what? Easy call, and they get it wrong, and all of a sudden that's a loss instead of a win. So those are things that I do think the NFL has to look into doing. There's too much noise around it right now, around officiating.
I forgot who was saying it, but there's this one guy, I was on a podcast too, that they said that there should be almost like demerits. If you have like a certain percentage, like it can't be like, listen, you're gonna miss calls.
Right, you gotta have some accountability for these refs.
It's like in the MLB, like a good official's considered, or a good umpire's considered if you have like anywhere between like a 85 and a 90% accuracy.
Yeah.
That means you're accurate like a majority of the time.
You're not gonna be 100%.
Yeah. But like, if you're
you can't be 30%.
Yeah, like
look what happened in the MLB. Angel Hernandez, the ump behind the plate.
Yeah, he got thrown out of the league.
They took him out because it was getting out of control. He was calling strikes and balls that made no sense, and it was almost like, all right, what are we doing here?
Maybe the NFL can take some notes.
Yeah, the NFL's got to look.
Some notes.
Got to look into
Don't
a performance.
hire a team that got suspended from the ACC championship.
Social media is loud, and I'm sure that MLB was seeing what was happening, and then MLB might, a lot of those things might slide through, but when a guy's putting a compilation of Angel Hernandez missed calls,
or the missed calls from all these games,
eventually that's what's going to happen. It's going to get loud, and then the NFL's going to be like, oh shit, guys.
Like, even players, and like Mike Tomlin, if you talk about a staple as a coach in the NFL, like for that guy to come out and complain about the refs.
Even Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels is not a guy to really make noise about those type of things.
Especially
he had some sarcasm after that Philly game.
As a coach, you never want to blame the refs.
Of course not.
But when you have no choice but to blame the refs, it's like, bro, like how bad could they have been?
Exactly.
Like how bad could they have been to alter the point of the game? But unfortunately, I think it's just like too late to make any moves. Cause I think they make the official roster of officials before the league starts. So like start throwing people out mid-season.
Look, I think it's gonna have to be a process to get it to a place. Like McAfee was saying, like maybe they build like almost like a minor league for these refs. Like if one guy does bad, you have the next guy up to kind of come in and replace him. And their performance gets evaluated every week, which I'm sure they do some of this already. Yeah. But again, there is human error, and I think some of that human error, even if you get the best of the best referees, they might miss a call at the end of these games. Yeah. You can't let it not be a reviewable call, in my opinion. Just go get the facts. MLB does it, NBA does it, anything under under a minute or something like that, they're going to review pretty much everything.
Even in college football, I feel like there's been like PIs
Every league does it. They look at plays at the end of the game that can ultimately alter the outcome of a game. Right? Yeah. And they use replay. Why can't we use replay? I know they want to keep a certain pace to the game. They want things to keep moving, but I think everyone will be okay with an extra 5 minutes at the end of a game, and I'm sure it can be even quicker to get the right calling.
I think the noise is going to be the loudest at the end of the season when they're like one game out of the playoffs and they know that they lost that one game because of a really bad officiating.
Yes, those are the things. And then, God forbid, one of these calls happen in a playoff game. Yeah, imagine.
It already has.
I know.
It has happened.
But on stacking on everything that's happened this year, that'll be, to me, the icing on the cake.
Yeah, but I think you'll start seeing owners and like team officials get more involved depending how their season pans out. Let's say like
the Colts owner has already been vocal.
Yeah, imagine the Bills, a team that's been in the playoffs, is one game out of the playoffs. Or for us, for example, if we're one game out of the playoffs, be like, bro, you know what, man? That Eagles game really
came back to haunt us.
And like they're gonna, and every fan's gonna know that exact one game where they're
like,
always
gonna be in the back of your head.
This game got taken away from us.
100%.
And like I feel like, bro, we can even be going to next year, but like, yo, did you remember that Eagles game? Like every time we play the Eagles, we're gonna remember that game of when we got robbed of a win.
You can eliminate human error with the replay. Yeah. It's a pretty simple thing.
So that'll be your what will be your official solution to like
under 2 minutes? You can basically either challenge it, or any questionable call has to be reviewed by the officiating, and you find a very efficient approach to it with New York and the refs right there. They look at it, they know exactly what to look for. A hold's a hold, a PI is a PI. You know what to look for. a face mask, right? Whatever that call is, that ultimately a roughing the passer, they have their checklist of what goes into a call, of what they have to be looking for. If those things happen, then okay, it's a penalty. If those things didn't happen, then you have to be able to overturn it. And vice versa. No calls have to be looked at too.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there should be some sort of rule where it allows coaches.
Because look at what happened with the no call in the Eagles game with the face mask. Like, that has to be challenged.
Would you always give coaches an extra challenge?
A third challenge.
A third challenge. It'll be like a no
For a
call
penalty,
challenge.
yeah.
Like, be like, hey, listen, you missed that penalty. You have to go look and confirm that there's a penalty right there.
I think that's deserving, yeah. Because that can...
But how many no-call penalties do you give them?
One.
You give them one?
Yeah, I mean, look.
So they get 2 challenges.
Because the refs also have to make the right calls on the field, too.
No, you can't just leave it to the hands of the coaches.
Exactly.
So then you're going to need an extra staff member to be like, oh, hey, bro, there's a call down there. Okay, they missed bad.
Yeah, and some of these are blatant, So, I think those... And, look, perfect example. That Eagles call with the face mask, that would take 20 seconds to review. 20 seconds.
I think my mother, who knows nothing about football, was like, that seemed like a pass interference.
It's not something that look, you can make the argument, how the hell did he miss that call? God knows how he missed that call. But if replay happens there, he goes, he looks at the camera, shit, I missed it, boom, done, first down.
And would you make certain calls reviewable, like as well? Like, would you make all pass interferences reviewed?
No, I mean, you can't make them all reviewable throughout the game. Under 2 minutes, those calls have to be reviewable, though.
I mean, I feel like there's some pass interferences where, like, they're like...
But look, you're not going to get it doesn't... How many calls do they miss in the NBA? How many calls... You're going to miss calls.
The NBA is too fast.
I agree. It's a different...
I feel like the NFL's slow enough where you can make sure that...
Yeah, but even look at baseball. They have challenges now. I mean, the reality is you're not going to get every call right, and that's okay. It's about eliminating the calls that alter games while also maybe having the chance to, hey, if you do want to look at that one penalty throughout the game, is this the one that you want to look at? You have this extra challenge flag, That is where you eliminate some of those big issues in the officiating.
I mean, it is getting to a point where like these conversations are going to be
It's going to happen. I don't see how it couldn't.
Because like everyone's talking about it. I mean, you have McAfee, you have old players coming back and talking about it. And I mean, dude,
and
like
when there's no bias, there's no
bias
bias in it, when other fans of teams that don't give a crap about them are coming in saying like, dude, that's pretty bad.
I mean, dude, you had Jets fans and Bills fans come up to us during the Eagles game and they're like, yo, that's
bad.
Rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
And like, like you said, calls are going to be missed, but just don't you cannot control the trajectory of a game.
That was bad. 10 to 0. I mean, that's a glaring issue right there.
But, aside from all
we'll
that,
see. I think that's something that they can work on this year.
We're just going to have to power through the rest of the season. Like I said, a change won't happen until the season comes to an end.
Yeah.
And they go back into like their I guess the rearranging of the rules and stuff
they
like
meet with the Players Association.
But we move forward, we power through it, but like I've always said, and I mean, in any sport, I mean, just don't rely on the refs.
Yeah.
You can never rely on the refs to help you win a game. I mean, you just have to play the cleanest brand of football you can. Don't limit the mistakes, because if you rely on an official,
and you stack on that.
If you rely on an official to try to help give you a helping hand, I mean, 9 out of 10 times it's not going to come.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Which is the unfortunate reality, and I mean that goes across any sport. Like, never look for a call because it's not going to come.
Exactly.
They're always going to go against you.
Yeah.
The same way, like if you get punched in a football game, don't punch because
exactly.
don't punch back.
You're going to be the guy.
They're always going to see the second one. They're never going to see the first one. So
There's definitely rooms for improvement, but I do think they got to do something. We'll see what they end up doing. So what are you projecting this weekend with the FINS?
The FINS.
I'm excited for that environment.
I think
the Germany environment's gonna be sick.
Which I love that NFL is continuing to try to become more international.
Yeah.
I feel like the NBA and even baseball. I mean, the World Baseball Classic was a hit amongst a lot of these countries. So I think, and I mean, now you see like they're trying to add flag football to the Olympics. Like they're trying to make football more of an international game.
A global.
Where like, maybe in these European countries you don't have football, but you have a rendition of
they
football.
got it into Mexico now. They play a game in Mexico City, Germany.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these rugby players start coming over to the NFL and just dominating. I mean, I think
there's a couple guys.
Jordan Malatai for the Eagles, they're badass left tackle was a rugby player.
Look at that.
Comes from, I think, New Zealand.
That's sick.
And the tush push is basically
Yeah.
what they do in rugby.
Yeah.
It's a scrum.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to see like more international players because, I mean, the NBA right now, I mean, it's almost like primarily international.
Yeah.
Like, these international guys are taking over. I mean, Luka, Jokic. Now you have Luwembayama, who is just a freak of nature.
Yeah, he's a monster.
You know, you have the Canadian influence. You have, you know, Spain's, the Serbians.
Yeah.
I mean, international.
They're getting talent
the
from
sports
all
become
over the place.
international, and it's also just helped the brand. You know, of NBA just becoming more.
Yeah.
You know, expanding their their profits and stuff like
Of
that.
course,
You know, as a business,
there's a business aspect.
as a business
to it.
aspect, you know, and I just love that, you know, the NFL has not just, you know, now they have the London game, they have the Germany game, they have the Mexico game. So I'd love to see where else they can go with that. But, you know, going to Germany, you know, these crazy, you know, these crazy fans, I think that the Dolphins are going to go into a shootout. I think that the final score,
You think it's gonna be a shootout? So you don't
it's
think
gonna
the
be a
defense
shootout.
is gonna?
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think that it's going to be a 42-35 game. The Dolphins are
Oh,
gonna win.
fuck! I don't think my heart can take that.
I think it's going to be a shootout.
I don't
But
think my heart can take that.
I think that's also me not knowing who's going to officially be active because we like to say they're active, but then at the last
I'm
second,
feeling good about things.
like I didn't think Xavier Howard was not going to play against the Patriots.
I knew he had a chance of not playing,
I think
considering that we had the Chiefs coming up.
I think my shootout score would be that, but if we just take care of business, I think you see a score similar to this week, like a 31-17 or 35-17 score from, you know, I think it's gonna be very similar to this week. But that's me also, you know, I just gotta give Patrick Mahomes his flowers.
Yeah, I was gonna
respect the hell out of
say
that guy.
it's hard to not respect, especially coming off a loss again. You know, I am the biggest question mark for me is the Kelsey matchup. You know, one, historically we don't cover tight ends well.
No.
Two, we're playing the best tight end, and then three, we're playing the
we
best
haven't
quarterback.
actually faced like a. I mean,
We
aside
played
from
Goddard.
which he diced us up, but we also allowed it. Like it wasn't like we had like a guy shitting over him. I don't think we gave him the respect he deserved. But aside from Goddard, I mean, I don't think we've all.
Yeah,
I mean,
we usually don't. Yeah,
Waller, I mean, he's okay, but
he
like
ate
in
against
terms,
us too.
huh?
He played well against us.
He did play
too.
well against us, but I mean,
Those big targets are tough.
yeah.
and
but like you said, we didn't have. the
it's a
scheme.
completely different
Yeah, it's a
defense.
different-
I agree.
It's a
Completely
different
different
defense
defense, so
once
we
you
don't
can-
really know what to expect.
Yeah.
But I am curious about that Kelsey matchup. Like he might eat, right? Like he can easily go for like
might have one of
150,
his, like, two touchdown
two TD games.
yeah.
But then again, like that might not be enough offense still, you know? So
Yeah, if your plan is to score 14 points against us, you're not gonna.
no,
win.
you're not gonna win.
You're not gonna win unless your defense has like a historic
Lights out.
night,
I mean,
like lights
look,
out.
a Jets defense has been able to do that.
Yeah, but even in our bad games, we're still scoring like 21,
No,
24
yeah,
points.
I know.
Like those are our bad games.
Yeah,
bad games, we're scoring 28.
Yeah, we're scoring-
Like teams in like, I think what the Chiefs just put up like what seven or
Yeah,
7.
and they
10
haven't been
points?
scoring this year. They
Yeah.
haven't been scoring. I mean, their best scoring game I think was against the Bears.
Yeah.
But
Could you imagine that our bad game we're scoring 28 points?
I mean, it's the first time as a Dolphins fan I've ever seen this
Dude,
type
it's
of
the
offense.
first time in how many years that we're 6-2?
2001.
2000. Marino was still quarterback.
It might have been Jay Fiedler.
Jay Fiedler.
Yeah.
No chance.
I swear to God, I thought I saw something.
Jay
the other day.
Fiedler took us to a 6-2 record. There's no fucking chance.
I know. I mean, that's
Jay Fiedler. had
it
us
made me
at
kind of like not be
6-2.
super happy about where we are right now.
Dude, there's no chance.
Let me see. Last time Dolphins were 6-2
There's no chance.
was 2001.
I think
And
Marino was still quarterback.
let me see. QB.
I think that was the end of his era.
depth chart.
I think that was the end of
Dolphins.
Marino.
It's close to the Marino era, but let me see.
Dude, who was even on that team?
Dave Wannstedt was the head coach. We finished 11-5, which was second in the AFC East. And our starting quarterback was Jay Fiedler.
Wow.
And our running back was Lamar Smith. We had Oronde Gadsden still.
Who are our receivers?
Oronde Gadsden and James McKnight.
Wow.
Yeah. We didn't even have 1,000-yard
But you know what?
receiver.
I think our defense was stacked that year.
Yeah, I think so,
I think that
too.
was like our Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor.
This guy threw, bro. You want to hear Fiedler's numbers? You cannot credit him as to us being 6-2. You ready for this?
No, he threw for like 2,000 yards or something.
3,200.
Okay.
But 20 TDs and 19 interceptions.
Yeah, our I think that was like the Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Chris Chambers, Sam Madison. I think our
Yeah,
defense
no,
was loaded.
I mean, we must have. We had JT had 8.5 sacks that year.
Exactly.
Zach Thomas, obviously being
Who are
Zach
our
Thomas.
corners?
Sertan and Madison.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
No, that is all.
Yeah.
You're talking about two of the best corners of their era.
Our
at
defense
that
must have been
time.
elite at that time.
We were for sure. We were like a.
I'm trying to see if
for
it
sure
shows.
loaded
We lost in the.
defense.
That was the year that we lost the wild card to the Ravens, which I remember that game. That was brutal.
That was the year they went on to win the Super Bowl.
What-
0-1.
Was it the Ravens won the
Yeah.
Super Bowl in 2-1? Oh,
That
so,
was like Ray Lewis's like second. That's when they got Shannon Sharp and Deion Sanders and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Our preseason odds were plus 3,000, which was kind of around the same of what it was this year. I think we were plus 2,500.
I think that this is a big game for us. Just
It is.
because,
I mean,
like,
we
you can
look
shut
at-
people up. You can just shut people up.
There's that, but outside of all that, who cares about the noise?
I know you're looking more long term.
You got to look at it that way because now you have
trying-
an AFC win. You
This
beat
could be a home field
head to-
advantage. It's
Head to head now, right? You legit control your own destiny
Yeah.
from here on out if you win that game, right? Obviously, there's a lot of football to be played. I mean, dude, talk about the Bengals. They're starting to make a stride here. We don't know yet, but they look like a team that could make a stride. They're a game and a half back. They're 4-3. We lose a game, we have 3 losses. They win this week. We go on a bye. They win the week after. All of a sudden, we're tied for first with the Bengals in the AFC, right? Like, there's 9 teams within a game and a half right now of each other.
There's a lot
in
of
the
5-3, like
there's
5-3
4-3s, 5-3 teams. You know, guys that have already had their bye. Like, the AFC is wide open right now.
Yeah.
So if you win this game, you're now head-to-head over the Chiefs. Your strength of schedule wins obviously goes up. And then you have a significant amount of AFC wins under your belt with a tough stretch coming
We
up.
control our destiny. And I think that at least for a few weeks, we have some favorable matchups where it's those games where you're like, you should win these games.
Yeah.
I think we have enough of those where we can control our own destiny. I think we play the Bills again, obviously. We have
At the
to
end
go
of
up
the year,
against the Jets twice.
Which, who knows what that game's implications are.
We have to go up against the Jets twice, which
Not easy.
we got to respect the Jets.
100% you do.
Which I don't know if did you see that Jets-Giants game?
It was the worst game of football I've ever seen in my life.
wow.
How they even won that game is beyond me.
Dude, they missed a field goal to take the lead.
They lost he missed 2 field goals in that
Graham
game.
Gardner missed 2 field goals.
And
That
then
was
you
a
let
gross game.
up like a 70-yard
But
drive.
this is the same defense that like held Mahomes in check.
Exactly. You
They held
have to
Allen in
respect that
check.
defense. You know, I think, again,
Yeah.
we're getting healthy at the right time where I think our defense
But then
will
again,
shut out Zach
yeah,
Wilson.
Then again, bro, like I just don't think. I think like there's no scheming against us, bro. We're just gonna throw something new at you. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I feel like you can.
I do think we're going to open the playbook this year, this week.
You think so?
I think so. We're
I
going to
think-
show some stuff.
I think that like our offense is like at a point where it's like you can prepare for it, but you're never gonna be ready for it.
Some of the trick plays that Mike McDaniels tried to run this year have not been good.
I really like that fake QB sneak.
Was that the one that
It was at the
Panthers
game,
game?
the last game you won. I think it was the Giants game.
No, it was the Panthers game.
Was it the Panthers?
It was the Panthers game. Yeah, and it didn't work, right?
It didn't work because
But
they overthrew it.
so when I looked at what had happened in that play, it looked like a disaster. And then you had told me that was a play. I'm like, damn, that kind of would have been sick.
Well, speaking about fakes, they ran the fake tush push last week.
That was badass.
Which I'm surprised it took them so long to start running it.
I know, I was waiting for it. I thought they were going to run it
they
against
won
us.
they scored a touchdown off of it.
Yeah, I know. I thought they were going to run it against
Yeah,
us.
bro. Dude, but credit to the Commanders, bro. Dude, Sam Howell. I've been saying
He's
it,
a
bro.
beast.
Sam Howell
He's
is
a beast.
playing. And
They've been in every game.
There's an interesting rise of quarterbacks coming up because now you
Yeah.
have Will Levis that just came out and like.
We'll see. Plays
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
But dude, he brought back prime DeAndre Hopkins.
I know. That was a good connection. He throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Hop one-on-one, throw him the ball. He's going to make a play.
Yeah, and then you really saw what's happening with the Raiders now. They blew it up.
Yeah, Garoppolo's not going to start
Garoppolo's
anymore.
done.
That's pretty big news.
Poor Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae. I mean, he's stuck there obviously this year. I mean, God knows what happens in the
They're paying him too
offseason.
much money to not want to use him. I think they're.
Oh, they want to use him.
I think it's
but
too
then they
much
want to
money.
use Josh Jacobs. The
Yeah.
offense stinks. They fired Josh McDaniels. It's a disaster there.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you would
The
like.
team that we have to be careful about getting, Devontae, that his name's just been attached to them, is the Jets.
The Jets.
A little Rodgers, Devontae Adams reunion.
I mean, you're talking about like.
I mean, they were looking to try to get Mike
Yeah.
Evans
Yeah.
in the trade deadline too. Apparently, like they're
No,
definitely seeking for another receiver because they know
they went after Tyreek. They went after.
they
like,
know they got to keep up with us, bro.
Yeah.
They're seeing our offense and they're like, shit, bro. They got multiple weapons. It's not just Tyreek. Tua's playing well.
Yeah.
The defense is good.
it almost looks like teams are like trying to like scheme up against us.
Which is what everyone was doing to the Chiefs before.
Yeah.
It was like, how do you stop Patrick Mahomes? Get a great defensive line so you can rush forward, put pressure on him, and you can drop people in coverage.
Yeah,
that was the recipe.
And like, I think the trade deadline wasn't as crazy. I mean, there was some.
There was so much action over the offseason. I mean, that was a big one. That was the biggest one.
The 49ers.
That D-line is stacked.
The Commanders are obviously looking to go into kind of a rebuild, which I think they actually have a good base to work with, bro. They've been competitive throughout all these games. Like, they hang with the Eagles.
Ron Rivera is gone probably after the end of this year.
I think he's gone, but I do think they have something in Sam Howell. I do think that they have enough weapons on offense to try to build something around.
Yeah.
Their defense, I think there's just too much money invested in the D-line to be able to expand off of it, because I think Montez Sweat's making a bag. Chase Young was making a bag. You have Jonathan Allen. You have De'Aaron Payne.
They got to pay for those people.
There's a lot of money in that D-line, so I thought they just wanted to free up some stuff to be able to expand
49ers obviously are also in a very win-now situation.
Yeah, dude, it's weird because like they're on a 3-game losing streak, so it's like
but dude, it's a long season.
Yeah.
Get in the playoffs. You have that defensive line. Brock Purdy gets healthy. They're missing Debo. They're missing a bunch of guys on that team right now. Like, it's not a time to panic there.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get healthy at the end of the year, bro, and they're back to being like that team that they were in the beginning of the year.
Which we talked about a little bit, but I have like a public service announcement to Miami Dolphins fans and even like any Miami fan with their GMs.
Oh yeah.
Like, I understand us being quiet during the trade deadline might be frustrating, but dude, you forget.
Thank you.
Our trade deadline guys are coming off IR. We had Jalen Ramsey, Armstead, Connor Williams, Kendall Lamb, Isaiah Wynn. Like, they're coming, man. Like, we don't need help. Help is on the way.
Group chat.
And they're in house.
In my group chat,
dude, I'm just like, guys, what else do we need?
That's exactly.
What do we need? We have edge. We have interior. Our linebackers are starting to gel.
And we can't be grateful for what the hell we just put together with this monster of a team.
Chris Greer has gone out and gotten Tyreek, Jalen Ramsey, Teron Armstead. He's drafted Devon A-Chain.
He traded for Chubb.
Got Chubb. I mean, dude, this guy's been nothing but like loud in these.
They go typical, typical. I'm like, typical what? The guy went and got you 4 superstars over the last 2 years. You know what's funny?
Like, people are like, when did you start trusting Chris Greer? When he told me, hey, we have enough at O-line to be good. And we fucking do, bro. We have enough at O-line.
And at running game. Good. Remember, everyone was like, why didn't we get Jonathan Taylor? Why didn't we get Dalvin Cook? Look how those situations panned out.
And then you have 31-year-old Raheem Mostert leading the NFL with 10 touchdowns.
Who would have been probably Offensive Rookie of the Year if he doesn't get hurt.
And you have the next coming of Barry Sanders
Come on now.
IR.
Come on now.
I think that people are just too quick. I mean, look.
Let Greer cook and trust in Mike.
Yeah, trust in Greer, trust in Mike. I mean, Greer has shown enough that, like, he's all about this team winning. Like, he was the one that made the move to fire Flores. Like, I'm sure that wasn't just Ross. I think he was involved in there. Yeah. He's like, dude, I drafted this guy for a reason. I drafted Tua for a reason. Yeah. And I'm sure Brian Flores is right now biting his tongue being like, damn, bro, like, I look like an asshole. Where back then, people were like, dude, that's flawed to let go of Brian Flores. But now, fast forward 10 years.
Yeah, everyone was kind of upset about it because we had just come off that winning 7 of our last 8.
Yeah, we came, like, his teams fought hard. But, like, dude, you're hearing the stories coming out of that locker room. And, it was not, people did not enjoy it.
And for Tua's sake, it was definitely the best thing that could have ever happened.
Like, Tua, like, you just watch the interviews of him, like, the way he's changed overall.
Dude, his demeanor, his persona around the locker room.
But to make it short, just trust Chris Greer.
Yeah.
Like, trust the guy. Like, he's put us in a position.
Be happy with where the hell we are as a team, too. He has
helped build this offense to what it is.
Even with the moves that some of these teams made, I still think we're better than them.
Like, Chase Young.
I get it. We still have a crap load to prove, But, like, on paper, like, if I just looked at our roster, I'm very happy with our roster.
The thing is, like, not that many people in the AFC made moves that are going to, like, destroy the league. Like, look, if you're Buffalo making a move, it makes sense because you're down your linebacker for the season.
Exactly.
Like, luckily, the Dolphins we're just well-rounded. We have everything we need. It just took a little bit, like, okay, you go on our defensive side. Yeah, it took them a few weeks to get going, but they're getting going.
Yeah.
They're making turnovers. They're making stops. They're getting pressure. Like, football's a game of balance and just patience with it.
You have to be patient with it. Everyone loves, especially, media in general, loves to create narratives in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, high or low right now.
Dude, talking about narratives, we're the kings of the narratives. Deshaun Watson, Lamar,
We've always
Tom
been that,
Brady. Dude, if anyone knows narratives, it's the Miami Dolphins.
But we're 8 weeks into the season. You can't be too high, can't be too low.
Just appreciate it for what it is.
Appreciate where you're at right now.
This is the best Miami Dolphins football Miami has seen in the last 22 years.
Exactly. So enjoy it right now. And you know, week by week, we evaluate where we're at.
Yeah.
Any given moment, anything can happen to any team.
Yeah.
You know, so you take everything with a grain of salt week after week. Like you said, you enjoy the moment of where you are as a fan.
Team, you know, we're gonna go up to Frankfurt. We're gonna take care of business in honor of David, 40-0. In honor of David would always say, Dolphins 40-0.
He would say that.
Maybe and he'll also go on and say, Javon pick 6, Xavier pick 6, and Mac Jones is a bum. In honor of David, but
that's
I
solid.
think we're gonna take care of business, and you know we're just gonna go week to week and just appreciate the brand of football we're seeing. Because I mean, I love it.
I love it too. It's fun.
It's been the funnest year of sports overall for Miami, and I think we just have to appreciate what we have right now, and that's a really good football team.
Yeah, no, I'm hyped for this weekend. 9:30 game, so wake up early. I know you're doing a little IHOP.
I'm doing a little, maybe, you know, ordering some IHOP, get the bacon grilling, some sausages, some bagels. You know, wake up early, set your alarms, bring the boys over.
Some Vicky's Bakery.
Some Vicky Bakery.
You know, to start the morning, you get a little Vicky's Bakery in the morning.
You know
some
what?
cafecito.
Let's say right now, Vicky Bakery, the official breakfast of 9:30 international football games.
Amen to that.
Amen to that.
They got your guayaba pasalitos, croquetas, little cafecito, you know, the little Cuban toasted bread with that butter on the top, you know, melted on top.
Get it right, man.
I mean, look,
Get it
you're
right,
probably
bro.
going to be a little hungover from the night before. What better thing to eat and start your day with some Dolphins football and some pasalitos from Vicky's Bakery.
Frankfurt, you know what, man? And then how about a little German lager to throw in there?
Who knows? You know, maybe a little Johnny Cuba to set the tone, and maybe around halftime, maybe first quarter if you're really feeling thirsty.
We're not sponsored.
But hey, that's your choice, not ours. So
we're not forcing you. We're just giving you options here.
I'm hyped for this weekend.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good weekend, and hopefully we're celebrating come Monday,
bro.
Come Sunday afternoon, Monday
Absolutely,
morning.
man. I think NFL's been fun. NFL's fun, and I'm just appreciating
Fix the
it.
officiating though.
Fix the officiating. It's not going to happen this year, but I just love what's happening right now. It's the funnest.
It's the best.
It's the funnest season I've ever experienced, for sure.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Obviously, a lot of love to the Heat and the Panthers. They've obviously kicked off their seasons. Dolphins is just in a part of the season right now where it's a little bit more relevant talk.
Basketball is it's such a long season.
It's a long season. I know, like the Heat just blew this 20-something point lead today. They lost again to Brooklyn.
One game
not to start.
The season.
But guys, I'm not gonna go on a tangent now. We'll save this for another day. But we were in the same situation last year. I know we didn't get Dame. I know we didn't do this. I know we didn't do that. But one thing we have to know is, like you said about the GMs, is just trust in these guys. The Heat stunk in the regular season last year, and we saw what happened. So let's not panic.
The Heat do not care
the
about being good in the regular season.
were an 8 seed, went to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Heat were an 8 seed, they went to the NBA Finals.
We just have to appreciate that. We have to understand that Pat Riley doesn't care. He doesn't build a team for a regular season. He builds a team for the playoffs. And on the point of the Heat, shout out to Bam, named captain. Bam Adebayo's been named captain of Miami Heat, taking the reins from Udonis, so shout out to him. But yeah, like Pat Riley's building a team for the playoffs. He doesn't care about being regular season champions. He's about hoisting the NBA Finals trophy. And last year didn't prove you guys anything. Then you just don't understand what we are.
And I get it. We're the second place stinks, but you have to give credit to where. What we've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, we were the underdogs. I mean,
it's not that easy to just make the finals.
We chanted 3%. We were 3% favorites to beat the Celtics, and we almost swept them.
Yeah.
So just appreciate what we are, and that goes for any sport. You appreciate what the Dolphins are, appreciate what the Heat are, and then for Panthers, Panthers are going to Panther. They're a little hurt right now. They're a little banged up. They're going to get back into it.
Yeah, we're playing good hockey, though. We had a little of a heartbreaker the other night against the Bruins in OT, which would have been so bittersweet to beat them again at home. They're 8-0 right now. Like they're on fucking a tear again. But
you just have to. People don't appreciate sports enough. Just appreciate it for what it is.
It's a long season in both of those, so we'll get into a little bit more of that
but the
as
Dolphins,
the season progresses.
We only have 17 games of work.
And we got college football coming in. in the final stretch of the season.
The
But
first
before
playoffs came out, the first playoff poll
I
came
saw
out.
that. I saw that.
You
We
got your boys in there. Congrats.
Yep.
FSU's
Go
in there.
Noles. We got Noles, Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia,
Yeah.
and then Noles, obviously. So
And Ohio State number 1.
I know that kind of surprised me a little
Ohio
bit.
State number 1. But no, I mean I think it's a.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see where the season pans out as we kind of close out. We'll talk college football playoffs. Penn State's still in it.
Yeah,
Oregon's still in
I think
it.
you learned from last week about our playoff predictions because
We got a little bit on the high horse of Penn State.
Our predictions went out the door.
I said UF was going to beat Georgia, and that did not happen.
They got dogged.
That did not happen.
Got dogged.
But what? Before we finish, you got a pick for the week?
Yeah. So my pick of the week, obviously, I'm going with my boys in the orange and green, coming off 2 straight overtime wins. Don't question the process. Just like I said, appreciate what it is, and appreciate the heart attacks of overtime.
Oh God.
But we're going into NC State this week, an away game. I think it's going to be a good game. NC State's 5-3. We are right now favored at 4.5, and I think that we are going to cover that. I think that we are more than capable of beating NC State by more than a touchdown at least. I think that right now the favorite is for NC State to cover that. Right now they have NC State not covering.
NC State's 4.5 point favorites. So you have money line, or you have them just covering?
I'm just covering. Well, it says minus 4.5.
Oh, UM's that's what I meant. UM's minus 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, UM's a favorite in this
so
matchup.
UM's covering.
UM's going to cover
Okay.
100%. Which surprisingly, I'm looking at it now. Right now, NC State's favored to beat the spread. Look at that. 70%
Oh
of bets.
yeah.
Have
So
NC
a lot of
State.
people are taking NC State to
A lot of
cover.
people have NC State covering, but I just, like I said to Andre, and my point's been proven time and time again, we're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to run for over 200 yards, and we're going to take care of business with arguably
You said that
one
a
of the
lot,
best,
and then
arguably one of the best offensive lines in the country, which I think is not an argument. I think that we have one of the best.
this guy, typical UM fan, they win one game and they're back.
We won 2 straight.
And then they lose, and then they're not back.
Listen,
and
the same way we're going to right now, we already matched our win total of last year. We're 6-2.
Whip-de-doo. Congratulations on
What I'm
6
saying,
wins.
we appreciate what we have. People were like, we need to see playoffs already.
No, I get it.
And
I
I'm
get it.
like, dude, we improved drastically.
All right, and then you lost to Georgia Tech.
Dude, Georgia Tech. Listen, Georgia Tech doesn't look that bad after they beat UNC too, bro. I don't know what Georgia Tech is drinking lately against these ranked teams.
Some weird.
But
they're drinking something in the
goddamn,
Kool-Aid.
bro, they're
I know.
drinking something, bro.
Yeah. No, you got to give them props. It's hard to win in the ACC.
And shout
some
out
of
to
those
Georgia Tech,
games.
man. They have a lot of South Florida kids on there. I think they have a few kids that came from down here are balling out up there. So shout out to them, man.
No, I think this is a big game, obviously
good
for UM.
Yeah.
But obviously, the big game is next week. That's not going to be a cakewalk. I think that actually will be a good game.
And then you guys are playing Pitt. I think you should take care of business.
I mean, we're like 21.5 point favorites, I think, there. So
and then in terms of like really good games this week,
NFL's got some good games. You got Bills Bengals as the Sunday night game. That's a huge game. Cowboys Eagles, another massive game.
LSU Alabama. That's always a pretty good game.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
USC Washington, which USC is kind of like,
Dude, no, they look terrible.
yucky, right?
They look bad.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit.
I mean, Washington's got to keep winning. They're number 5 right now.
No, you definitely have some. I mean, I think Seahawks and Ravens can be a kick-ass game.
And that's the other game I was gonna. That could be a low-key game. Ravens are coming off probably one of their best games. Seahawks won.
Cowboys Eagles.
I know.
Should be a. Dak Prescott's been playing some decent football lately.
And their defense is good.
Their defense is good. Michael Parsons, insane player.
It's in Philly though.
You have the Bengals and the Bills.
Eagles are 3-point favorites. Bengals are 2-point favorites.
The Bengals and Bills on primetime Sunday night.
And bro, they have the Ravens as 6-point favorites. I like the Seahawks to cover that. I don't know if they win in Baltimore, but
man, Seahawks, bro. I had a lot riding on them. I drafted Geno Smith in a lot of my leagues.
Geno hasn't been the same Geno as last year.
I think that
Ravens defense is legit.
The Ravens defense is legit. Lamar's still legit. I'm surprised they didn't make a move for a running back. That's just me, given that they have no running backs right now.
But look at that market right now.
I mean, they wanted to get rid of Derrick Henry.
The only one, I mean, the Bills went for Leonard Fournette, and that was like the splash of running backs.
But I mean, I think they're both. I think it's gonna be a grudge match. I think it'll be a grudge match.
Yeah, I think they cover. I don't think Seahawks win, but I think they can
Bills,
cover
Bengals,
6. I'm hyped for that game.
Who'd you? I think I just want the Bengals to win, right? We never want the Bills to win.
You don't want the division games to win.
Yeah.
No.
Just make that margin bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us more cushion to drop a game.
At the end of the day, one seed's not the worst, but you win the division, you're sitting fucking nice. So I like Bengals.
Should be a fun.
in that game.
It should be a fun weekend of football, man.
And we'll set the tone with the FINS win at 9:30. Let's do it.
Absolutely, brother.
All right. Thanks, ladies and gents, for tuning in. Again, we'll keep you posted on next week. Again, congrats to Dave on the wedding. We'll post some pics, in celebration of Dave. And then, we'll figure out whether we record next week. May take a bye week next week.
Take a wedding bye week.
Yeah, and then and then we'll be back the week after and
Full strength for the
ready to go. Dave won't be on that one, but we'll probably do something similar to this
for the last stretch of the ready the second half of the season.
The second half of the season,
half of the season, man.
Yeah. So, we're doing one live from FINS Tailgate, 11/19 with Zaslow. Sponsored by Johnny Cuba.
What game that's playing the Raiders?
Raiders game. So if you are tailgating for that game, we will be live at the tailgate, actually filming with Jonathan Zaslow on 11/19 for that Raiders game.
Get a little podcast going.
Fresh off the bye week, so that should be good vibes. Everyone's ready back to be in football.
Yeah, come tailgate with us.
Maybe a little cool weather. Hey. It'll be a good time. So
might be some giveaways in there for you. Maybe some merch.
Some new merch.
Who knows? But definitely, come hang out with us. Come talk to us. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you'll get on the pod with us. Hop on the pod. Give
anything's
us
an opportunity out there.
But definitely it should be a really good time. We're excited about it. And
that's gonna be a good
we'll give
time.
out more details as we get closer to the week.
Yeah.
So All right, bro.
That's it. All right. Cheers.